Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. And welcome, everyone. I'm Loren Gailey, and this is another episode of QCTV, where I hope you are ready to receive some 5D activations. Lori Spagna is an expert when it comes to animal communication and humans, and she's here to assist us as we discuss DNA activations and all of it. Lori, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Loren. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I'm looking forward to our time together today. And hello to everybody listening.
You look lovely, and I would love for you to share about this 1111 gateway that we just passed through.
Oh my God, yummy, juicy.
And it's a Scorpio Mercury retrograde. Yowza.
Yeah. Well, okay. First, I want to say, if you are not feeling these incredibly euphoric, very blissy energies, it means maybe it's a good time for you to really be still and be meditating or just practicing being still, because there is just, I don't know, the most beautiful energy. I wake up in the morning and I'm just so kind of like blissed out. I just want to lay there. So that is part of the 1111 gateway, is these new, call them new. I mean, they've been, they're higher, lighter frequencies coming in. So higher, lighter frequencies are always coming in, they're always amplifying. But what we typically have is the first stage of the higher, lighter frequencies start to come in and things get shuffled about. Things get upset. Things get kind of pushed up. And certain things sometimes feel unsettled. Old stuff comes up, like, oh, didn't I clear that before? Didn't I address that before? You know that story. And it's, yeah, you did, but a deeper level of it, or something from some other alternate timeline, or something that was unresolved. And so there's a brief period of time there with these new energies. That started happening in October, actually. Stuff comes up for clearing. And when you've done successful clearing, because then the very next phase of that, which we can mark by time, important points of time, the 1111 gateway, for example, where suddenly it's like, oh, this is just beautiful. Like now you're leveling up to this new range of frequencies. So whatever your personal experience has been, whoever you are, if it's been something sort of similar to that so far, like some aspect of that where there was like a lot of maybe some turbulence or some challenges or some new strange stuff to work through, or maybe not so strange, old stuff that you thought you were done with, that probably was at the onset of these new energies, or these higher amplified energies. And hopefully at this point, you're starting to feel a nice, peaceful leveling off, some form of that. The other big thing, yes, which you mentioned, Loren, is the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. And I want to say a couple things about this. For Scorpio can be a very sleepy kind of sign. Scorpio can be very kind of lazy, or lazy feels like a judgmenty kind of word, but it's a kind of a kick back, wait and be patient kind of an energy. So it's not necessarily always an action. And then you combine that with Mercury in retrograde, which Mercury is the planet that has to do with, communication, action, work, travel, movement. When it's in retrograde, that feels slowed down. So we have that slowdown in a house, Scorpio, that's designed to sort of be patient, relax, wait, take appropriate action only when it's appropriate. So things feel very slowed down. Now, combine that with the fact that it's during a full moon when things are amplified, always a full moon amplifies, and combine that with the fact that it's happening in the final month, second to last month of the linear calendar year, November, when what happens in the collective during that window, naturally the collective, even the most unconscious, we slow down and we start to have a period of time here where it's like last year is over. The next year is unknown to those who aren't consciously creating, for sure. So there's this period of time where things are hazy, like what's to come. And for many people, that's going to trigger either consciously or unconsciously some of their fear about the future, the uncertainty of the future. Now amplify that by the uncertainty of our world right now. And then amplify that by people who know enough to know there's a lot of uncertainty ahead. Because just look, Jupiter's moving into the next house, which is Capricorn. I mean, I'm not an astrologer, but I know enough to know when Jupiter comes side by side next to Saturn in Capricorn, side by side next to Pluto in Capricorn, which is what we're happening over the next year. That is massive change. Massive change is about to happen. It's been happening. Plus, I mean, to go into the astrology of it a little bit more, you have another movement of Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is fast moving change. So we saw that happen in the latter part of October. It's all creating a lot of uncertainty. That is the thing. Now, what are the key points from Ascension and Lightworker that we want to bring up here? Number one, we all, as those in the sort of like, the Lightworker, Starseed, Ascension movement, we're asking ourselves to become comfortable in our own discomfort and to become certain in the space of uncertainty. So, because uncertainty is not a foundation, but next year, 2020, is a 22 master year, and it asks you to step into your mastery. Well, if these energies are preparing us for 2020, which they are, then the idea is, how do we become masterful? We have to embody the energy of certainty in spite of the uncertainty in our world. We have to be masterful as conscious co-creators. So this period of time right now at the end of this linear calendar year is effectively asking us, this 1111 energy is like, what do you want to be the master of? What do you want to create for your future? And what is going to be your foundation? So all this uncertainty is just a bunch of uncertainty, providing an opportunity to get clear in our mastery. What are we going to create? What are we going to experience? What are we deliberately, consciously choosing and intending for ourselves as individuals and for our collective experience, our shared experience? So to me, that's what this whole 1111 is about. It's preparing for the 2020. And what do we want? What are we choosing? It's giving us a window.
Yeah, what are we choosing? Thank you for summarizing. Lori, you hit the nail right on the head. I'm certain that many are feeling this. I was looking in my own life, and it really seemed like since Halloween for me, yes, I did feel like there was a little stagnation. And then there was a period of where go easy on ourselves and not put ourselves under too much pressure.
Yes.
But recently, like after, like leading into the gateway, like before, like the week before, I did go through a week of the core wound coming up again, the core wound on a deep level.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, take stock of, are we truly able, no matter what, to come from that core, that what you called that certainty and uncertainty? Can we truly come from the certainty, no matter what our ego says? Because what happened for me was my ego had a heyday, and I had a little pity party. And so, it's those moments where, yes, we have the tools to raise our vibration, to get over it. But then guess what? After the 1111, it was like, whoosh, the clarity was there. There was a lot of action on the downloads. And so I hope other people are feeling that. I've talked with people, and that seems to be a consensus.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Comfortable.
I love that you said that part about the core wounding, because it's like, I think one of the big things is with core wounding is, especially, I mean, this I think has been said before, but it's worth repeating. Humanity's our core wounding as individuals is shared by the collective. So if your
Mhm.
core wounding is abuse, neglect, um, um,
Acknowledgement,
yeah, it's all the same. You know what I
abandonment,
mean?
it's
It's like
all
we
the
share the same core wounds.
yes.
And the thing is that because we have cleared it out for ourselves as individuals, we think we're done with it. But then when you meet up with another person who hasn't cleared out it for themselves, or who has somehow spiritually bypassed it, or somehow you just interacted in the field, or somehow you somehow got to some other code that was in your DNA, or dormant programming, or some programming that wasn't really running for you anymore, just somehow got triggered or reactivated, you're clearing it again. And yes, this time it has more of a collective or group kind of clearing. If maybe you did it on your own for yourself, now it's somehow activated, engaged with someone else or some other group. Or so, I mean, it's not easy when we're going through it, that core wounding stuff and those deep pains and traumas. And
Tears and
yeah, it's not fun.
sadness.
But
Yeah.
I will say that, I don't think anyone's being, I don't think it bypasses anybody. And
No.
I've had some experiences with some, even this month of October, I engaged with some couple of light workers, and I felt like some of the stuff I was witnessing in them was stuff that maybe they spiritually bypassed. Maybe it's really easy to be like, oh, I'm a star seed, or I'm a walk in. I don't have to deal with that. That's not mine. And I think, no, no,
Yeah, we're still
that's too
human.
easy. That's an excuse. That's spiritual bypassing. If it's in your field, it's up
And
for
so
review.
yes, so let's share a little bit more about that because it really is when we're talking about feeling. So here we are in November and the energy feels totally wild. I'm really amped up, actually. I'm really
Mm.
excited. There's not enough time in the day to get
Oh
everything
yeah.
done. That's what it
Yeah.
feels like for me in just this past week. And so
Yep.
I hope everyone is feeling that. And so, you know, as we get over that core wound, to know that when we're sitting in that vibration of, ooh, I can feel it right now, deep sadness, we
Mm.
may not know why we're feeling this sadness that was coming up. And
Mm.
just to know that we're clearing that right for others in also for ourselves, but for others. And
Mhm.
so, wow, that is comforting. And so I think we could just breathe and say, wow, we're clearing this. It doesn't
Yeah.
take long, does it? It really doesn't take long with some of the tools to move through that. Maybe it's like, well, it goes in waves. I don't want to say what it is, but we could sit in a session and maybe a couple of minutes of tears and feeling and letting that energy out and then coming back around maybe later and another wave comes up, but it does seem to clear faster.
It does clear faster. I want to say, I when your core stuff is coming up, there is no question in my mind. Two things are absolutely required. One is it wants to be witnessed,
Witness.
wants to be witnessed, it wants to be expressed. It's a
It wants to
core wound that has been so suppressed, either by you or someone you interacted with, or the collective, or all three. So it wants to be expressed. So your willingness, even right now, Loren, to say, like, I just, I have sadness or I want to cry. I cannot, I can't stress this enough, to find a trusted confidant, a healer. That's what healers do, or someone who really is of a high frequency, who can hold space and be
yes.
that love while you express, where you can be so safe. I feel it in the field here now, where you can be so safe to bawl your brains out and not be seen as less than. Because this has happened to me a lot. I haven't trusted. I have given a lot of my power away in my lifetime to other people who sat sort of on their throne, so to speak, of as healers or as channelers or as whatever they do. And because I went to them in a trusted way to help me. process my stuff, because I believe that we process better when we process together. You can't handhold. I process alone 24/7 all the time, but I also trust people.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've trusted people I shouldn't have trusted.
Mm.
And so what I've learned though is the ones who are trustworthy really are the ones who can let you cry and blubber and go through the motion, aren't trying to fix it, giving you the space and time to process and be present and hold space and still see you in your most magnificent gloriousness. They know that you are so great because you're willing to expose yourself, willing to process through it, willing to be vulnerable. And if those people in any way, shape, or form make you seem or feel like you are less than them because of that, or somehow are condescending, or somehow can't hold that space for you, then they're not the right people to work with.
Yes.
Because
Mm-hmm.
it's courage. This path of the light worker, it requires extreme courage. So much
Yes.
courage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I hope that's helpful. So that's the first thing. And the other thing is, yes, gentleness, going gentle on ourselves. We have to go
Yeah.
gentle on ourselves. It's
Yeah.
just too easy for most people to really spiritually bypass these days. A lot of people, I think they go to, they'll go to singing drum circles or crystal ball circles or Reiki circles. And those things are great and wonderful. And I love them. Or channelers and or vortex circles, and you just throw it in and you're not processing. It's too easy to bypass.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes up later, deeper. This is not a time where we can really bypass it. I don't think you can't. There's no more carpet sweeping. You can't sweep. There's no more hiding in the spiritual closet. Not for those of us in the front. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, it's a delicate time, and so
Yes.
it does feel like it has eased up, so that's good. And that's why I love conversations like this, because it allows us to recognize that sometimes we feel there's also an energy with the 2020 amp up, right? We're getting ready for it.
Mm.
And while we're going to be gentle on ourselves on what we expect to put out there, it's also, like, well, I forgot what I was going to say because it's something I forgot what I was going to say.
What happens?
It'll come back. It'll come back. It's just we go easy on ourselves, and well, it'll come back. I forgot it.
Well, here's what I want to say. Here's what I would love to say. A couple of things. Number one, to me, 2022, a huge part of it. If you look at 2022, we might as well address this. We
Yes,
are
yes,
being
I got it.
prepared for
It's the feeling.
2022.
Sorry to interrupt. You can
So,
address this. It's the feeling of being left behind. Are you picking up on that? Is there a
I know that a lot of
is
people
there a
have.
feeling of being left behind? Maybe others might. That's what I would.
I get that, but I just want to say that's a fascinating. I mean, I have heard that a lot. I don't. I just want to say it's impossible. We're not. It's an old feeling being left behind.
That's
And
part of the
even if you link
uncertainty.
that into like Atlantean timelines, or even, I mean, Lemurian timelines to me are already resolved, but it's because a Lemurian timeline is a divine feminine timeline, and an Atlantean timeline is a divine masculine timeline. Nonetheless, not to go down that road, but that feeling of being left behind, because in both cases, some beings were left behind,
Yes.
right? So when you're carrying that, I think to me, it harkens the Atlantean timeline that's unresolved, where we had to leave some people behind. And that trauma, that is a trauma for many of us who were there and had to leave our brothers and sisters behind. So I can understand that. And then if we carried ourselves, like, I feel like I'm being left behind, that's also linked into this part of us that really came here with a mission, a divine mission. And we want to step up to our greatest, our highest and best potential, and our highest and best timeline, where we are really fulfilling our mission, our purpose, in the highest and best ways we can, and with the greatest degree of success, but not from an ego mindset, from a mission mindset. So that feeling of being kind of left behind, I'm leaving people behind, or I'm being left behind, or I'm leaving myself behind, that's all, tied into that from my perspective. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And, when we think about it and we look at it, when we're being triggered by the fears and the uncertainty, and I've heard reports of people not being able to sleep very well, and we are in a full moon. And
Yeah.
so, when you wake up in that uncertainty, again, it comes back to what you were saying as we began, just to be certain. This mastery is to be certain in the uncertainty, no matter
Yeah.
what. And so we have tools for that.
Yeah. Well, let me say about that. A couple things. First, I just want to address what you said about feeling like you don't have enough time. This is something that
Yes.
Sandra Walter taught me this, who I love so much.
Yes.
He said, Lori, she taught me the words, oh, well.
Oh, well.
She said it over and over again to me.
Oh, well.
If it's supposed to get done, it will get done.
Yes.
And if it's not, oh,
Oh,
well.
well.
And when she said it to me, like literally in a session, because I kept going with her, like, oh God, I have so much to do. I have to get this, I have to get that, and she's like, oh, well, she kept saying it. And it really, really made sense. It's like, you can do your best. You will do your best. And you trust yourself that you will always be doing your best. You're at that frequency enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what you're meant to do, you really will do. You will. It's a self-trust issue in a way. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's not, you can't drive yourself to the bone trying to get things done in a linear fashion anymore. Linear time, you cannot keep up with linear time, and it cannot keep up with you. You cannot be constricted or confined to the ridiculousness of linear time anymore, because it's not even what it was. We don't even have 24 hours anymore. And it's not functioning that way. Time is not moving in that way. So
Yes.
our experience now is what I'm meant to get done, I'm going to get done. But we have to energetically shift into that fluidity of non-time, no time, now, effortless now. And
Mm-hmm.
in any effortless now moment, using our divine intention to say, I have X project or Y project, task, whatever, and it is my divine intention that when I'm meant to do it, I will do it with an effortlessness and accomplish all aspects of it with an effortless ease and grace in the right divine timing. So we set that intention in the now moment for the point in time and space when we will pick up that task and attend to it, or that project. And then we link into that, knowing that that's the way it will be accomplished. And everything else, oh, well. I hope that's helpful. That's my interpretation of what I received from that, oh, well. And I'm
Yes.
just passing it on and giving credit to such a glorious teacher. So the other thing I want to say, though, is besides the time thing, is the 2020 thing. So here's what I get about 2020. 2020, of course, is a 22 mastery and master builder. That's that 22 number. It's also a 4. 4 is foundation and rebirth, resurrection.
Ooh, okay.
So 4 does have to do with work, career, mission, family service, but that's because those are the things we associate in the old paradigm with foundation. That's our old foundation. Government, banks,
Mm-hmm.
structures, medical institutions. Those are all foundational issues. But in 5D, what is foundation? In 5D, foundation is the frequency and the vibration that we tune into and embody. So in 5D, 2022 then becomes, what is the foundational frequency that I embody, that I will now use as my platform? I close my eyes because it's really being fed to me, this information in a way. The platform for which I will build everything else upon and launch everything from. My frequency is now, and my mastery, the 22, is my knowing how I'm doing it, how I'm consciously creating it. So my platform, my frequency is a frequency that I cultivate from within me, the frequencies of peace, joy, love, conscious creation, happiness, excitement, service, contribution, divinity, knowing, and certainty, regardless of the external reality. This is, to me, the embodiment of 2020 through 2022, by the way. It's claiming mastery, foundation from within, uncertainty and knowing, alignment with the divine, consciously creating it. So if we can find that within us, but the shaking loose is what's happening right now. All the uncertainty, all the doubt, like doubt our doubts, doubt. We need to doubt our doubt. When doubt comes up, it's about making a conscious choice to deliberately do something different. Doubt is just the trigger. Doubt your doubt, deliberately do something different. All right. But other than that, it's like all the uncertainty is just a window of opportunity to get certain.
I love it.
I
So
hope it's
when
helpful.
you're doubting and you wake up in the middle of the night, get certain. Just get
Well,
certain.
all right, but the middle of the night thing is a little different, because let's say middle of the night thing is like, okay, maybe
Worry. And why
it
do we
could
put
be.
so much faith in our worry, right? This is that foundation within that you're talking about, to really
Mm.
trust this inner knowing.
Yes, that's true. But also the other thing with the middle of the night thing is sometimes we're being energetically, we've done some kind of activation, or we've done some
Oh,
kind of clearing, or
really?
we're doing some kind of new attunement, or our energy field is being reattuned. And that can be
Okay.
disruptive in the night. So with the night stuff, what I usually do with that is, I've had those times where I'm woken up and it's like, there's nothing I'm going to do to get me back to sleep. And then I might put on Loren Gailey, quantum conversations, or something like that to sort of ease me into a peaceful rest. But I mean, you can literally talk to your own higher self here and say, look, my body and being needs a good night's sleep. I understand I'm going through an ascension period here, and there's lots of changes happening for us through evolution. Our bodies are changing, you know, literally, we are literally changing on a physiological, physical, emotional, mental level. That sometimes is disruptive in the sleep. So if it's too disruptive, I have a conversation with my own higher guidance, higher self consciousness, and say, please, I need restful sleep. So let's do this a little more gracefully, please. Thank you. Sometimes that's enough. Let me get a good night's sleep. I need good restful sleep, because that's an important part for our operating, our healthy operating. And we don't always need 8 hours or 10 hours every night. Like, it's what's right for your body and your unique rightness of your being. And you start to know that as an adult, right? But whatever it is that's right for you, you need a certain amount of sleep.
Well, I do have to say, if anyone wants to join me on this, like Lori, if you want to join me on it, I am actually not buying into daylight savings ending. I'm going to stay on daylight savings with the sun. So I'm on mountain time. And when daylight savings ends, the stove clock, the clock in my car, and the clock in my bedroom are all on central time. So we go into central time.
Oh, that's
And do you
awesome.
know it's wonderful
I love
because
that.
I still get up at the same time because I follow the sun. It's called following the sun.
Yes.
And and then once you do your morning routine, it's like I have an extra hour. And
Yes.
so anyway, that's what I do. And I just think it's interesting because, I don't know if we really need that daylight savings. I think we do it because maybe the children are going to school in the dark hours, but maybe that's when school starts a little later. That's on a lot of local
It's a perfect
municipalities.
example of how we have to, as a society, relook at our structures and our systems. Like, is
Yes.
this really working for us? Like,
No, it's
does
not.
anyone really like daylight savings time? It used to be the reason they did it was for the farmers, and then there was something linked into the railroads of it.
Oh, so it's like the
Like, it's
whole
so old.
nation. And so not all countries do it, Hawaii, well, not all states do it. Hawaii doesn't
Right.
do it. Arizona, Guam.
Right.
Puerto Rico. Taiwan doesn't do it, right? So
Right.
there's countries that don't do it. When a whole nation goes into jet lag, no matter whether you spring ahead or you fall back, no matter what that time change is, there's more accidents on the road. People are
Mm,
just, you can
mm.
feel it. So I don't know. I'm just not buying into that anymore.
Well, you know what I really love about what you said about this is, aside from the recognition that this whole old way of doing time is changing, like
Yes.
literally, um, the other thing that I really love is about how you're talking about taking back your power. Just because a system or a society is dictating something, that's the way it's done, doesn't mean you have to buy into that. And you're finding a new way, Loren, just in what you expressed, of reclaiming your personal power on this issue, because it's something else is going to work better for you. I've been working on that as well with the planets. This is a big sticking point for me, I want to say, because I find it I actually talk to the planets a lot. And I actually,
And you say you're not an astrologist.
well, because let me tell you why. This is my love-hate relationship with astrology.
Ah,
I never
okay.
really had to learn it in this lifetime. I have tons of astrologer friends.
Kind of hard to understand, right? But
Well, I just never had to learn it in this lifetime. I think I have spent a lot of lifetimes as a monk in a monastery, as
yes.
an astronomer, astrologer, like studier of the stars. I think I traveled in circuses with palm readers and tarot card players. And I just think I learned it in lots of lifetimes. I never really had to learn it in this lifetime. I never really studied it, but I know it. And I mean, I picked up a lot from my friends and stuff, And so anyway, and I'd look at my chart. And also I remember learning from a reader once, if you just look at your chart and meditate on your chart, everything you're meant to know about your astrology will come to you, which I did.
Mm,
And that's a lot of how I think I learned it too. Plus, I get divine downloads. We can all ask for divine downloads. Well, anyway, this is my problem with astrology. I love it, but it is starting to become too limiting for me. And then this has been going on for several years. So if astrology says, well, it's time for this, it's time for that. And I'm like, wait a second, my internal rhythm wants something else. My internal desire is something else. And an astrologer will say, well, you have to sync in with the planets, sync in with your moon. Like I have 4 planets in the house of Cancer, 2 planets in the house of Pisces, and 1 planet in the house of Scorpio. That is a lot of water,
ah,
a lot of water.
you have
Now,
a water trine.
I have a grand trine in the
You know what? Lots of people in this group have a water trine. Myself,
yes,
Shirley, Irene, lots of us. It's amazing.
right. Well, that means you're a very watery, flowy person, and it can work with and for you to a great degree, but at a certain point, it starts to become kind of restrictive and constrictive.
I
And
see.
oh, Mercury's decided to do a retrograde because the whole planet needs some time off and they won't take time off. So Mercury's going to do a retrograde, or the whole planet hasn't figured to move and flow yet. So now there's going to be all these squares and hard angles in your future. Well, I
Uh-huh.
already know how to move and flow. I don't particularly feel like buying into the squares and hard angles because the collective
Ah,
has impressed that upon the planets, and the planets are just responding to the collective. And for me, I
okay.
would like to not have to go through that. So, yes, to a certain degree, you can just bypass it. But in another ways, it's like if you're in contracts and agreements with the planets, which the collective is, we're part of the collective, you're going to some degree be affected by it. Well, this is starting to become a little bunk for me because I'm now in a 5D reality and I don't want to be dictated to anymore.
Yes, you just said it, the 5D reality.
That's right.
And
So this
and
is
what
where
we
we
know
start
from
reclaiming our power, which is what you're doing with
yes,
time, and
gotcha.
recalling back our contracts and our agreements with things like this that are collective driven.
Yes.
It's not, it's entirely new, because I mean, this is when I say I talk to the planets. I'm like a little bit in, sometimes my higher team calls me a divine brat because I do argue a little bit sometimes, like a lot sometimes.
You're just rogue, that's all. You're a rogue
Well,
rebel.
I'm like, what? Humanity's supposed to sit here waiting for the next shoe to drop.
Uh,
or some other planet or some other catastrophe or some other bankers to decide it's time for another economic collapse, and then they secretly organize it behind closed doors. Like,
right.
this is not working. Like,
Mhm.
no, not cool. How do we change this?
Mhm.
So, I mean, we can all sit here in kumbaya and do peace and love, but at the same time, some people are going to play into it.
Mhm.
And some of us shouldn't necessarily have to be. Not that I'm not always in, I'm saying it in a passionate way right now. And yes, sometimes in my privacy of my own home, I'm having, divine debates. But mostly I really am in a sacred space about it. And at the same time, it's like, hey, I'm one of the change makers here. So what are we going to do here, team? How are we going to make this better? So, it's that kind of dance. But ultimately, the point that I'm making is we're taking back our power, even regarding things that are part of the old paradigm that we don't know or haven't known we could take back our power about. Because
Yes.
planets do influence us. If
Yeah.
we deny that planets influence us and pretend, oh, I just don't do astrology. Well, no, you're in denial. That's denial. The planets influence you. But
Yes.
when you consciously work through it, if you go into a state of denial about time, you're going to just get sucked right back into it. But if you, like you are, rise above in a new conscious way, what's for my higher and better? What feels right to me? What's my natural sun, my natural moon? What's my natural time? That's a new way. And that is taking
Mhm.
back your power in a conscious way. That's not denial. That's evolution. And that is 5D and beyond, right?
Yes, and we're gonna talk about 5D activations, and
Yes.
this is taking place on all levels, whether it's it's everything. Yes, we come from a place of integrity. We know what we know is the right thing to do, yet sometimes taking back our power means not giving it away. For example, like, thinking that you need to get to every single email within this time frame. Sometimes emails can wait, is what I mean. Sure, we have to be responsible, but you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So, in all aspects of ourselves, we are required to step outside of that time, even with, you know, I mean, yes, we still have to show up for appointments, but now we change the way that we do appointments. I don't even know if many of us can do back to back, especially healers, back to back to back appointments like this. It gets kind of overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
So we take back our power all over in all these ways, right?
Well, one of the things I learned from Enoch, actually, an Archangel Enoch, is about this. And I shared this on my last retreat that I did. It's about something we call the null zone. And a null zone is where you're going through a period of time, linear time, but in your journey, and it comes and goes, where you're adapting. You're going through high adaptation. That's what I'm hearing from you right now, Loren. You're stepping out of an old way of doing and being, and you're stepping into a new way of doing and being. And there's an overlap there. And the friction is like pulling yourself out of the old way and anchoring into the new way and still being okay with it. So if the old way is like, I have to respond to my emails within 24 hours or 48 hours, I have to make this appointment, I have to do 4 sessions in a row, I have to be booking, I have to stay in my integrity and honor the agreements that I made. And the new way is, hey, that's not going to work for me anymore. I have to give myself more leeway, more flow, more space.
Yeah.
I have to book things in a different way. But those old commitments are still anchoring me into that old reality, and I'm still in there, but now I'm trying to but this is stressing me out, or this is making me not operate in my best way. You're in this period like, how do I operate, how do I shift, how do I change, how do I navigate? It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And the best thing I think we can do during that time, it's an adaptation period, is to ask for compassionate understanding around those around us and of ourselves, and be like, okay, I realize I'm messing some things up, maybe from an old perspective, but bear with me. Now, if you're interacting with a 5D person, their response is going to be, it's all good.
Mhm,
All
exactly.
good. It's going to
Mhm.
work out just fine. Don't
Mhm.
worry. No problem. No worries. We'll work it out. And if their response to you is something more like the wrongness of it, and, you know, some kind of old paradigm like, well, that's not right, you made a commitment, ba ba ba. If that's not what it is, if it's something more like that, you're gonna, as best as you can, lovingly complete your agreements with those people and complete with them in a most loving way. Then there's some middle room. The middle room is like, well, can we talk about this? Can we work through this? Can we make an appointment for a future time when we're more calm to resolve it? Because a lot of times both people just in that moment, or both parties, can't quite resolve it, but at a later moment, there'll be more space for that. So you kind of have those three, you know, you're either going to have a 5D person, no problem, no worries. A 3D person, this is wrong, wrong, wrong. How dare you? Okay, thank you. Let's do our best to complete our business now. Whatever we can do, let's complete in the best way we can. Or somewhere in between. Can we talk about this? Okay, we'll table it for now. We'll put a pin in it for now. Hey, this hasn't been working for me. Can we work it out? And then usually you can. To me, that's how that goes. It's a null zone. Like I shared it, like I said, I shared about this on my retreat. On the first day of the retreat, what happened was on the last retreat, there was a period of time where I realized I was out of energy. We had completed a dig and we were in the store and I was having a great time, and I'm like reading people and they're asking me about their crystals and they're asking me like, what are these and what are these lines, and having a great time. But there's some like older people in the store who were more 3D, like the owners, and just a lot of energies. And all of a sudden I hit my point. I was like, oh my God, I have not another bit of energy to do. What am I going to do? I've got to complete this time. But there was like a long line in the store and people still need to finish buying. And my assistant was on a break and I was like hitting my bottom. And I knew, oh my God, how am I going to navigate this? Because the old me wants to gracefully get everybody out of the store, complete, get them back to the hotel. The new me knows I just need a break. And now I got a navigation point. It's a null zone. Like, how do I move through this? The old me wants to do it perfect and right. The new me just wants to hit the floor and say, I'm done, guys. Get home yourself. I got to navigate. It's null zone stuff.
Yes.
And I mean, the most amazing thing about that was my group on this last retreat, they were so high consciousness. They were so incredible. They were so amazing. The moment I told them, they were all like, because I actually told them it afterwards that evening. They were all like, oh my God, we didn't even know it. We didn't even really realize. We just knew.
Go to bed. Yes.
Wanted to complete, and you were like moving us along.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, wow, we give you permission to ask for support. And it's just so awesome because they were so high vibe. They were like, no problem, no worries.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, let's talk about 5D activations and how we can calibrate into the higher wisdom, the knowingness in the face of uncertainty, the certainty in the uncertainty.
Yeah.
Can you lead us through a practice for that or a tool?
Oh, wow. Okay. Can I lead you through a practice or a tool? Let's see. What are we going to do? We can definitely do something. I just don't know which what. I thought we were going to talk about it some more. All right. Well, let's do some. Let's have, what's right to do? Yeah, let's do some activations. We'll do like a little meditation with some downloads. And actually we might even get a little channel come in.
Yes, Laura, you're amazing. And I really want to give you time for that here in this episode.
Yeah, because you know what, here's what I know is coming through. We'll just let source kind of provide for the collective group. We'll do a little, how much time do we have to do it?
We have about 20 minutes left on our live stream here, and then we're in our after party.
So let's do, we could do, okay. But do we want to talk about the package before that or after?
Yeah, we can do that all after our activation here.
All right, so let me just say, so whatever we do, the activations, this is the most important thing because I don't know who's in the audience or who's with us. But just understand, and I know this group is so
High vibe.
this group is so high vibe, but
Yes.
just please know, you know, if something's clearing, it's clearing. It doesn't always feel good when it's clearing, but it always feels better afterwards. And if something's activating, it's going to feel generally pretty good, right? But the stuff that gets anchored ultimately is always what you're really ready to really embody. So it's whatever's unique for you. It's always what's unique for you. And whatever we do, I know it will always be based on free will. So this is an active participation one then, if we're going to do something like this. So let's just for whoever wants to participate, it's a sit down, sit still, and begin to breathe and relax. And we just call in divine source for the collective group who's listening live and in delayed playback, that what's meant to come through comes through for the greater good of all and with harm to none, and for the maximum benefits of all, in service and contribution to all involved in the and all involved, yes, and for the ascension, the awakening of humanity. So first, we'll have source bring forward here. Thank you. The first thing. So we're going to bring gifts of consciousness. These are just gifts of consciousness for each individual, as is uniquely appropriate for each individual, regarding whatever's been going on for each individual in your unique life and living. These gifts of consciousness will be both solutions toward whatever particular experiences have been going on during this most recent window from October to November through December, final quarter of your linear year. Yes. So gifts of consciousness with and from creator's consciousness, the original source of consciousness, creator of all that is, as well as the solutions to whatever has been going on in your life, which may have been troubling you or concerning you, or where you have experienced some degree of a lack of clarity and or uncertainty. Allow these gifts of consciousness to come through for you as a unique individual embodiment. And of course, gifts with and from creator's consciousness. So for whoever you are, as always, only as is for your highest and most benevolent best as a unique individual and with harm to none. Let these consciousness gifts come to you. They're not going to be overtly obvious in the now moment. In the now moment, simply prepare to receive. The way you prepare to receive, of course, is through deep, long, slow, comfortable breaths, willingness, and a conscious consent, which is yes, please, yes, thank you, yes, yes, or just yes. I get out of the way now. I've just translated. What gifts are coming to you now? I'm out of the way here. Yes. And you, whoever you are, you're just noticing. You're just breathing. You become the witness to your own experience, noticing your breath, noticing your willingness. We have lots of beings here, actually. We can do a little channel. Multiples stepping forward, asking which messages are most relevant for this particular group and most significant in the limited amount of linear time that we have. A goddess collective. I've been here before, and simply, certainly, many among you already know. So this group, Tara, Sarasvati, Parvati, divine goddess energies. It is we, these divine goddess collective energies, which are at this time creating much of your uncertainty. This is because our agenda is for you to more fully, wholly, and completely unite with the divine flow of your own unique, personal divine timing. This is destabilizing for you. It creates the uncertainty that you are experiencing. The overall purpose, higher purpose of it, is to sync you up with your own unique divine flow and your own unique divine timing and your own individual knowing of what you're meant to do, which serves you and others around you in the highest and best and most benevolent ways. Nonetheless, this divine flow is and can often be quite destabilizing, for it is of a new order, a new sense of being, a new way of operating. This new way of operating is new to you, provides a sense of destabilization, but ultimately will restabilize you in your new way of being. This flowy energy, this divine feminine energy, which you have been calling into your field for some time, which you are not altogether unfamiliar with, of course, will provide you a new sense of being that feels so much more effortless for you in all your endeavors. As you allow it to partner with you, in you, and through you, this new flow, feminine energy, you will find that your endeavors are much more effortless to accomplish, that there is a greater unity through you and your partners in the physical form who you engage with. In addition, there will be more flow and unity to the actual obstacles that you experienced in the past. In other words, fewer and fewer obstacles, more and more effortless grace in the unfoldment. The flow is designed to ultimately remove the obstacles. For you, you no longer need them. They're not a requirement for your existence or your participation. They're simply opportunity to create in a new way. This is why you are experiencing, certainly part of why, you are experiencing much of this uncertainty at this time, this destabilization of your experience. For it is through inviting in more of the flow, the divine synchronicities, the alignment with the flow, the surrender to the flow, the trust in the flow. This new way of operating will provide you much more expansion in your future endeavors. And in fact, in all of your experiences, you will enjoy them more as you get out of your own way and allow the flow. Invite in something very interesting just happened. So the law of synchronicity stepped forward to speak. And as I was translating, it was invited the law of synchronicity now. So this divine feminine collective has slightly stepped off to the side. And now we have law of synchronicity. As you will trust and allow for this law of synchronicity to work with you and for you in your endeavors, you will find that things synchronize with much more ease and grace. I am a synchronizing and organizing consciousness that reigns in and reels in all the energies, the frequencies and the vibrations of your consciousness, organizes and systemizes them in such a way, and then reveals them to you, almost as if a red carpet type of experience of your knowing. This could be translated in this way, rather to say, rolling out a carpet for you, so to speak. In other words, to say, I'm bringing it all together for you. And as you know that this law of synchronicity that I am organizes for you in such a way to bring those things together, those experiences, those energies, those vibrations, those frequencies together for you in a unified way, you will come to see synchronicity is working for you now, much more than it ever has been before. Because in earlier time, space, dimension realities, synchronicities might have come forward to be obstacles and blocks, sometimes directions and guidance, sometimes ways to reallocate your path or redirect your path or realign your path. Now, in this new paradigm, in new reality, synchronicities are working for you always in a unified way. And so as you put more and more of your trust in the law of synchronicity, you will find that things are much more effortless for you indeed, much more effortlessly flowing for you, divinely flowing. So trust and know I am law and I exist and I'm here for you. Okay, good. I have source, creator source now, providing to you, and then we'll complete after this, a download and a simultaneous activation and awaken from within you, within every cell of your body and being. Gifts of consciousness on that which has been translated, that this becomes part of your knowing, and that which has been spoken and unspoken regarding the translations today will now be gifted to you. Of course, with and from divine source consciousness, that your consciousness comes into alignment with this source on this topic area. And you come into alignment with the divine source on this and even greater. Now, with your consent, breathe, receive, consent, and allow. This is where I get out of the way. This is download and an activation. This includes 5D operating system activations contained within it. So 5D operating systems are new ways of being, behaving, and operating. In this particular download, they have not been fully translated, which means they can only be provided that which is related to that which was translated, simply because it will never be provided something to you that is not of your conscious consent and free will choosing. There's one last piece to this healing. This is divine source consciousness. To provide a gentle and loving and most compassionate healing for each and every one of you who have been disheveled over the previous linear month or so. This gentle, loving, compassionate healing designed to lift, remove, dissolve, and return to divine source those energies, frequencies, vibrations, emotions, upsets, up leveling that is no longer necessary and or beneficial for you. Gently, lovingly healing you on these issues. If you're consenting now, so choose. Yes, thank you. There it is. You just notice whatever you notice. Very beautiful. Just a teeny bit more and we'll be done. Oh my. We just got a whole group of star family intergalactics who wanted to share, but I want to check in on linear time because I don't know how much time has passed. But how are we here?
If you've got the star beings, bring them in, bring them in.
Okay, let's hear it. It's an intergalactic council. Many from other star systems now who are traveling now. I'll let them. Many beings from other star family races and other galaxies now are welcomed into your galaxy. Many of us have been foreign to you. We've never met you. We've never engaged with you directly, not in this time-space continuum in any case. This is because the fields around your earthly realm have been lifted. It's true to say a matrix energy field has been lifted. And now there is much more free trade and free exchange of consciousness and information. We are grateful to get to know you. We will not define ourselves in this now moment, who we are or where we're from, for that would require more explanation and more of your linear time than is necessary. Let it be known simply this: we are here, we are among you, and we are grateful to know you, to meet you, to interact with you, and to exchange information. It would be impossible for us to be with you here now if we were not of a high frequency of consciousness, and if we were not here willingly sharing and exchanging love and other similar forms of energy. We are of high frequency and high intent, pure intent, and that is to expand our consciousness and yours as well through the giving, exchanging, receiving, exchanging of higher frequency consciousness and energy. We are excited and optimistic about the future of getting to know earthly beings, of inhabiting among you, of exchanging consciousness. This is happening now and will continue to unfold in many ways. You already know us, and we already know you in this way. Nonetheless, our mutual acquaintance will continue to expand into the future. And for this, we are very grateful. There's a rainbow body of light here presenting. This rainbow body of light is simply to let you know it is a form of our communication. You may see it in your inner eye in the future. You may engage in some way, shape, or form. It is a form of communication of light that we share and exchange with you, just so you can know our signature. We have our own unique signature as a sub-collective of intergalactic beings. We share it with you now as a way of, perhaps you could use like a handshake in your terminology. You may receive this now as a form of energy exchange if you so choose. And with that, we say farewell for now.
Oh, Lori, thank you so much for doing that. It is so beautiful to hear you channel in that way. And I would love to hear from others about that. Oh my God, it was like a galactic handshake, that energy exchange. Did you feel it?
I mean, I really did. I feel so happy right now. I just don't know what to do. I just feel so much happiness. I mean, I just don't, it's really nice.
That's truth, right? Yes. And so we made it. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah,
You are amazing in that
that was
way.
really fun. I
Yeah.
love doing that. I love it. I usually do the channelings on my, like, speed activations and DNA activation calls. And this is like one of the first times I've really, well,
Yes.
we did it our last call together. We did it.
We created it. Well, that was a mastery empowerment course that went
Was there
almost
no
4
channeling
hours.
at that time? Did we do
Yeah, that
channeling?
was a mastery empowerment course. So
Right.
we're glad in this quantum conversation that you could offer that experience
Oh,
for
yeah.
everyone. When we saw the gifts within it, oh my God, I totally got that download. The gift in the beginning, the gifts of consciousness and the solutions, I wrote it down, divine ease and divine grace.
Oh, that's
And that's
awesome.
what came through from
Do
the
you know,
Goddess Collective.
this is like a new template. This is in the
This is
DNA.
a new foundation that we did today right here with you.
Yeah, there's these templates in the DNA that I discovered. They're templates and operating systems, and they're just new ways of operating and behaving. And one of them is a new way of being solution oriented. So if
Yes.
you think about our old paradigm was largely like, find the problem. What's the problem? What's going wrong here? What's wrong? That's how we operated. But the new template is for us to just always be seeking solution. What's the solution here? How are
Yes.
we going to solve this without even looking for a problem, because we have enough problems already? And when I got this download the first time, I was really pointed to, and I've never studied this, so if I say it wrong, please forgive me. But in mathematics, I was told this by my higher team, that in mathematics they create a problem and then they find a solution. And I thought, isn't that interesting? That's an old way of operating. And even if you think about like the whole global elites thing, it's like they create problems and then they create the solutions. And they introduce the problem, like the dark web. They created the dark web and now they introduce all the solutions for the dark web. Or like they created theft in this reality. I'm saying it's they, but it's the old
Yeah,
paradigm.
who's they? Well, the consciously creating is the solutions. And I love that
That's right.
vibration that we're in. And in the face of everything, no matter what, if we focus on creating that new and being supported in it with integrity, I've got a New Earth mastermind group that comes together in that synergy. And it's
Yeah,
amazing because we're able
love
to
that.
share things that you'd have to pay a consultant for. We get to share this, and
Right.
that's
We
the
are the
unity,
solutions. That's the
the
whole thing.
solutions,
And we have all the
and
solutions
sharing.
within us.
We
Yes.
do.
And I love that you have a mastermind group. That's so wonderful.
Yeah, it's for New Earth serious creators only, serious New Earth creators
Yes,
only.
love
And what we
that.
find is that it's entrepreneurs, and it's so supportive. So it's just really wonderful.
Mhm.
Well, I love what we did here today, Lori. This was a beautiful activation for everyone.
Mm.
And I want to talk a little bit about your special offer. But before we get there too, we do a after party here on Zoom. And if you go to this link on the page, I'll show it to you. if you go to the link on the page, you'll be able to either join. If you buy Lori's special offer, you'll get a ticket into it, and you can come in. You can be a New Earth Creator member and join our membership and come into the after party. It's really fun. It's where we share our experience. We ask Lori a question, and we
You get
basically
coaching.
laugh and have some fun.
You end up getting coaching. Last time we did a lot of coaching and support. Everybody got a lot of attention. So if you're buying the package that we just go over, you'll be able to
Yes.
get support from me direct.
Yes.
Love
And
that.
so, 5 minutes after we jump off this call, we're gonna be in that after party, and you just come in on our Zoom link, which we're broadcasting on right now. So,
Okay.
check out
Yes.
Lori's special offer. She has a whole series of activations that are just like what she did today, very powerful. Lori, I do have to say that when we did that DNA activation mastery empowerment course with you, um, that really was in the thick of it, and my life has totally changed since that. It's amazing.
Oh, I'm hoping totally changed for the better.
Yes, it's this movement. It's
Ah, yes.
movement. It's
So you're saying we
knowing.
moved a lot of energy. That makes me glad. I'm so
We
glad.
moved a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is a lot of movement happening right now. It's amazing everywhere. We'll talk about that more in the after class. So yeah, so let me just say about the package. First, this package has a full activation series. So this full activation series for people and animals too, by the way, you get guided how, your animals will benefit from this whole activation series, but it's a 5D activation series. It's really about all those energies, frequencies, and vibrations that really activate, level you up, and integrate into 5D. They're all the most fundamental frequencies that allow you to really energetically anchor into 5D and that become your new platform for operating, your new foundation. And they're clearing you and liberating you from that old entangled 3D existence, right? So that whole series in and of itself is basically, I call it's a 7-day activation series, but you can listen to it at your own pace. You get the MP3s, but each one is a meditation, a light meditation, like what we did, right? You just took some breaths, relax, you receive the downloads. It's meditation and healing energy. And there's a little bit of talking and teaching, followed by the energy healing, which is, like I said, no more than 45 minutes. It's 30 to 45 minutes. And it's all the base frequencies, energies, vibrations, and activations. 7 days, which again, you can listen to it at your own pace in your own time. But there's 7 different MP3s, each of them approximately like 15-minute talking part, and then about 30 to 45 minutes activations. 7 of those, right? That in and of itself is easily valued at $600 because it was a whole course we did. But that's in this package. Then item 2 is the most recent. Oh, that was awesome. Not available anywhere else. Lionsgate Speed Activations Call with Dormant DNA and Sacred Key Code and Star Code Marking Activations. That call is over 3 hours. It's 3 hours, but it is so good. And there's tons of channels, tons. There's really good channeling in there, similar to what we got today. DNA activations, code activations. We participate, we do it, but source orchestrates. I translate, explain it. So the first part is like 90 minutes. You understand what the codes are, what they're doing, what they're about, how they help you level into 5D, how they operate for you beyond 5D. It's all translated there. And then the second part is about an hour and 15 minutes, or maybe a little longer. I think the whole thing is over 3 hours. In any case, you get the activations. You participate, you're learning, you're playing, you're healing, you're activating. It's awesome. You can listen to it as often as you want. That's valued at $100. Then what comes with that, I threw in with that over the Lionsgate. Doesn't matter that it was the Lionsgate, they're just activations for 5D and beyond. But what came in with that was the post-eclipse extra bonus wrap up to really help you navigate this window of time that we're in right now, which sometimes is a little bit of that null zone stuff. How do you navigate this very uncertain kind of time that we're in? and what's going on Earth. It's full of great, great, helpful insight information. It was an extra bonus that went with that. But it's really high value. Then item 4 is a beautiful meditation about merging with your high self and your I am presence. Look, here's the thing. There's lots and lots of wonderful meditations. I have lots of them. I love them. I think it's always wonderful to have different ones because to me, I meditate every day. Sometimes I am a little bit lazy. Sometimes I don't want to just do it myself. Sometimes I just want to lay there and follow the guidance. This is one of those. And when you think about the whole, to me, such a huge part of our ascension process is like, okay, you've got this soul that's been going along lifetimes and lifetimes of living and lifetimes of existence, and it just wants to find its way home. But it's you, and it needs to get into your body to get to the light, so to speak. And then you've got this, and it's in your body, but most of us have been so fractal. It's fractaled and it's traumatized and it's here, there, and everywhere. And it needs to be reunited home, right? Into you and with the divine. Then you've got your own higher self part of you, that part of you that is so connected to the divine source, that's infinite consciousness, infinite love, infinite presence, absolutely pure divine being, God self being. And it's wanting to get into the body too, because it's like, okay, I want to have this earthly experience with you. And it's all meant to integrate and harmonize with the egoic identity that's like, okay, I have to live, I have to survive, I have to thrive, I want to accomplish, I want to do. And so we're integrating all of this. Well, I love this meditation. That's what it is. So you have a little explanation about it, and then you have a nice 50-minute meditation there. Then item 5 is it's all about really vibrational energy healing for people and animals. I'm getting a lot of stuff from people about how their animals are working hard for them and going through a lot of the shifts and changes too. And how can they help their animals more? And also how can their animals benefit from ascension? So that's one of my favorite parts of what I offer is the animal part, how to work with our animals and help them and learn from them. And this is what that's about. So you have vibrational energy healing and meditation for people and animals, and then a follow-up vibrational energy healing call for people and animals. So it's a meditation and also an energy healing call, 2 separate calls. That's item 6 and 7. Item 5 and 6. Item 7 is about the self-love and self-forgiveness energy healing for people and animals. This self-love thing is way underrated. It's like, it's too overly dismissed. And it's one of the most important things, how deeply we learn about self-love and self-forgiveness. It may seem basic, and yet I'm still learning it and still growing into it and evolving into it and exploring it in a deeper way. So that's really what that call is about. And then there's item 8, sacred energy healing transmissions for people and animals. So more of the animals, working with the animals, and more of those same kinds of transmissions, similar to what we just did today, again, for people and your animals. Item 9 is a sacred government healing and alignment call. So this is conscious creation. This particular call, you will love it. It's a meditation of we, the sacred government, we, the divine creators, we, the collective who chooses that which is for the highest and best of all beings with harm to none. It's the removal and revocation of giving our power away to false authority figures who would seek to profit at our detriment or to our detriment. And it's reclaiming our power back, which is really what we were talking about earlier, Loren, about saying, hey, I don't want to give my power away to an external authority anymore who seems to believe they have power over me and or who thinks that they know better for me when I am the divine authority of my own life and my body and my being. So it's really about that. And it is about sacred government for the greater good of all with harm to none. It's a beautiful call. Also in there, in that meditation call, is how to claim your You do have a certain kind of, there's a lot in there about becoming impervious and immune to external authority figures and external forces that could cause harm or detriment to you in a way that is divinely aligned, not by resistance or struggle or any of that. But there's also a part in there about claiming your special rights. It's like the laws of the universe apply the same to all of us, but those of us who are light workers, we have a certain kind of it's special discompensations. Let's use that word, special compensations, and we get to claim them. You learn about that in there. It's really helpful. It's so helpful once you know it. It's so good. Item 10 is a special fun gift. It's New Year, New You. It's a meditation for creating your best life ever. And you will love it because it's the perfect time of year for it, actually. Even though you can do it any time of year, it's all about really creating your life and your future and maximizing what do you want for your 2020? What do you want to choose? What do you intend? What do you desire? What do you want to create? And the meditation is all about that and claiming it and owning it. And it's a beautiful meditation. That's what item 10 is. Okay. Did we do another bonus item?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to toss in the Mastery Empowerment course that we did because that was
That's a good one.
beautiful.
Okay.
That was 3.5 hours, I think. And Lori, like I said, the
Oh
DNA
yeah, that was really
activations in
good.
that one. So we'll throw that in, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Great.
I love that you put that in as a bonus. That's
Yeah.
so good. Because I didn't know. I said that we could do a bonus, and I love that you say that. That's worth the price of admission right there, folks. That was
Yes.
really good. That's so
All
nice
right.
that you want to throw that in. That's so awesome.
I know because
Totally great.
well, as you guys can tell, Lori is an amazing teacher. And when you dive into the work with her, you're literally in a field of energy that you can feel and you can experience. And so merging with that and working with it, I absolutely love it. You're talking about taking back our power. And when we do take back our power, we create solutions,
Mm,
right? This means everything, Lori, from taking back our power over in our financial lives. Like if you have a mortgage or a home loan, let's say, do your best to pay that off and we'd be really responsible, right? With the finances that we have. And I have always encouraged this. I'm just waiting for the mastermind group or New Earth leaders to come up with a new home loan system, one that's
mm.
more humane. And these are the
Yes.
type of solutions that we're talking about. And when
Yes.
we do this work and we do this connection inward, like the teachings of you offer, then we do come up with solutions like that. And we
Yes.
do have heaven on earth. It's so
And I just
beautiful.
also want to say that so much of this, especially that sacred government call and the meditations, it
Yes.
literally is about working. This is what we're learning right now, humanity as a whole. The non-physical world is incredibly powerful. In fact, it is way more powerful in a sense than the physical world. So we're being asked to create in the non-physical world from the higher realms of existence of consciousness, frequency, and energy to create there, to co-create there. There's only one rule. The laws will still stand. The only one rule is for the greater good of all with harm to none.
I mean,
Everybody agrees. That's the only rule. So we create
sounds
from
good.
there, and then it manifests and materializes on the physical plane. So of course, once we really learn how to really do that with mastery, of course, the universe has solutions for us on our home mortgages and home mortgage plans, for example, or whatever financial issues we might have, or whatever
Ways to
family
clean up
friend
the
dynamic,
ocean. Yes, to
all of it.
fund education for children that
Yes.
inspires the invention and the innovation. I'm really
It's
excited.
it's all that's all the stuff we're coming up with, and we're
Yes.
doing it in the non-physical world, following one rule for the greater good of all, with harm to none, ideally with harm to none, for the highest and best of all, ideally with harm to none, and We know that there are laws on the 6-dimensional frequencies that are serving in that capacity that will organize it and ensure that it is so. Simple. The
So
best.
have fun, everyone. I want to thank you, Lori Spagna, for this beautiful
Thank you so much.
QCTV episode. Another one with you. Until next time, my friend, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone. I hope to see you in the after party in just
Yes.
5 more minutes.
So let me put this screen up and invite you all to join our after party. Again, it's a quick link to Lori's special offer. Of course, you can go to acoustichealth.com and in the marketplace, click on special offers and find Lori's offer. On the screen here, there's a quick link, bit.ly/Lori activations. And then, of course, please check out our membership. If you'd like to join our New Earth posse, we get together in these after parties. There's another one tomorrow during this 11/11 week, and you get plant music meditations and music and a bunch of bonuses to support you in your New Earth creations. And of course, if you want to join our mastermind group, that's available too. So check out Lori's special offer and work with her to create consciously with the major non-physical beings who are here to support us. I want to thank my guest, Lori Spagna, and I want to say thank you to everyone joining us. Now we are going to dance our way to the cosmic heart. Namaste. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.